Hi, beautiful Plexus people. Jenn Hawkins here, Legacy 6-star Diamond, and I'm so excited today to talk to you about retention. Before I get started, I want to share a little story with you or a parable. I'm a big fan of Jesus, and he taught in parables, so I'm taking some direction from him to make this point. Okay, so this family comes home one night, a family of 5, and they come home to no water pressure. Can't wash their hands, can't flush the toilet after they flushed it the first time. They can't take showers, no laundry, no dishes, none of those first world luxuries that a family of 5 would enjoy in their home. They discover the problem is a busted water tank, water gushing everywhere underneath their house. Okay, so they can't do all the things, all those luxurious first world things. So I'm sure you're connecting dots. The water tank is retention in your business. Filling the water tank is recruiting. So if you have a healthy water tank, you have healthy retention, then you can enjoy the luxuries of first world luxuries in your home. And that would mean that you would be creating a solid business. Okay. A legacy business is in store for you. Getting to Hawaii, financial freedom, time freedom, all the amazing things that come with a legacy business is going to require solid, healthy retention. Okay. Or in other words, to think of a revolving door. You bring people in, but they are going out. You are constantly feeling like you are replacing people. So I think Julia had said that recruiting is easy. It's not easy, but the real work comes with the retention piece. And I would say, just depending on who you are and some people are really good at recruiting and some people are really good at retention. You're going to find, like, I think that retention's really easier than the recruiting. So I wouldn't say one's more easy, one's harder over the other, but here's the point. The work does not stop after you have brought them in the door. Okay. The work just is different and it changes, but it's still hard work to do that. Now it can be simple and it can be fun, but it is vital to a solid business. Okay. So we're going to talk about that. So Julia killed it talking about community, and I could not agree more. And you will hear people say, I came to Plexus for the products, but I stayed for the community. Okay. So we want them to stay. All right. So I'm going to build on what Julia shared with you guys last week when it comes to community. So I'm going to share another story with you to illustrate my point. This isn't really a parable, but it's just my experience. Okay. So here was something that I experienced, and I want you to think about yourself. Like, if you're here, there's a good chance right now, if you are in a part of this series, your sponsor doesn't need to do a lot of hard work to retain you. Like, you are personally, internally motivated. You see it. You are firmly planted in Plexus. I would imagine if you were here in this Star Diamond Rising series. Okay. So that was me, my sweet sponsor, Erin Harrison. I'm so thankful she posted on Facebook. She started, and I think I started about 4 weeks after her. She didn't have to do the hard work to retain me. And here's why. One thing she did do was she added me to Jennifer Poole's Plexus team page. Jennifer Poole, if you're watching, I love you so much. That team page really was what helped me see the vision. That's where I started building belief in Plexus. And so that is my top tip. Building belief. Okay. So it was there in that team page that I learned about these Plexus corporate calls that were happening. I saw people ranking up and earning money. I saw people's health testimonies. I was seeing them do it. And I was like, if they can do it, I can do it. So I was seeing all of this, and the vision was being casted and my belief was being built in Plexus while I was starting to have my own product testimony. So in 2 ways, my feet were becoming firmly planted in Plexus. I was falling in love with the products, and my belief was being built in the products and in the opportunity to share. And so I was like, well, I know what I'm sharing, and it's okay that to do the scary things, because I know what I'm bringing to the table. I was learning what I was bringing to the table, building my belief. Okay. I was building belief in myself, seeing if they can do it, I can do it. Right. So that is the other value. So Julia talked about the community, bringing people into the community for that space to feel loved and valued and celebrated. Like, I love these people. They're amazing. They're uplifting. They're encouraging. This is a wonderful space to be in. And I'm also building my belief. Okay. So that is another sort of facet to adding people to the community. But the overall tip is to build people's belief. Jessica had said about serving her well, like, it is selfish to not share. You are thinking about yourself because you can't serve her well if you're too scared to get out of your comfort zone and share, right? I believe that was where she was going with that. It's been a week since I watched it, but you can't serve her well. You can't help her unlock her freedom that Plexus can offer her if she doesn't stick around. So that's retention, keeping her sticking around long enough to experience that freedom and that serving her well. Another way to think of it is having these good retention practices is stewarding your business well. It's the people that have already came in, serving them well, and being a good steward of what you've already been given. Okay. So, think about this. Okay. The new person. So we've talked about what we did. We experienced the products and we are in. We have seen the business work and we're in. We've built our belief. But that new person that you're talking to, they haven't had any of that. They haven't experienced the products most likely yet. And they haven't really been exposed to the power of Plexus and how it can be a solution for them personally. So that is our job. We have to bridge that gap between they haven't had the products, they have not fallen in love with the products, and they have not been exposed and they don't have the belief in Plexus. So they're like 1 foot in the door and 1 foot out. We have to get them with both feet in the door. And over time, we get them firmly planted in Plexus and what we have to offer. Okay. So, I don't really have time to go into like the getting them to fall in love with Plexus products. I hope that one of our other Star Diamonds will cover that. But I will just say, like, if you think the retention starts on month 2, when someone's subscription goes through and they're like, I didn't want that to go through, the products aren't working for me, and I want to cancel and get my money back. If that's when you decide to work on retention, it's way too late. It's way too late. You have to get them mentally prepared when they order, before they order, right after they order, so you don't get to that point. Okay. So that's a topic for another day because I want to stay in my top tip, which is building belief. Okay. So here's my task, because I'm going to give you the tips, as I give you the task. It's okay. And you're probably not going to be surprised based on the story that I shared about my own experience and being added to Jennifer Poulos' Plexus team page. But task number 1 is going to be to add 3 people. So, and I'm calling you out. Maybe this doesn't apply to you. Maybe you're like, I've already done that all the time, and I don't have anyone else to add. Good for you. But I am guilty. I know there are some of you out there who have VIP customers who said they are not interested in the business, and you never added them to a page. You never added them to a page because you're too scared because they said, I'm only taking the products. But how are they going to be exposed to what's possible if you don't expose them through adding them to our community? Okay. So maybe you have a really large organization and there are more than 3 people that you need to go back and say and invite them to the team page to come be exposed to the power of Plexus. Maybe you have a small organization or you're kind of newer and maybe you don't even have 3, or maybe you've already done this all the time and you're like, check, check, check. I'm done with that. I can be like, yes, I'm done with that task, Jen. I've been doing it all along, but some of you need to do this. Okay. So I would pick a page that is going to be the most active. So maybe it's your own page, maybe it's an Uplines team page, but the most activity and engagement, that's where the page that I would choose. I wouldn't go add them to all the pages because you may be in multiple pages, but, and I would do something like this. This is personally what I would do. You can do something that's more authentic to you in that relationship, but I would add them to the page and I would say, then I would voice message them and I would say, hey, Susie, I just wanted to let you know, I invited you to one of the Plexus community pages that I'm in. It's really uplifting. There's lots of great information. You'll learn about the products and you'll see the power of Plexus. And I just wanted to add you so that you could be exposed to some of that, or you could check it out for yourself. come be a fly on the wall. Say something like that, something that's authentic to you. And worst case scenario, they say no, or they check it out and then they leave, right? But they're still planting, you're still planting seeds, y'all, even if it doesn't work out right then. Best case scenario, they say, all right, great. And they start to see it. And maybe that person will become your first jewel or your next jewel, or just a power partner, someone that you could add to our community and be blessed by Plexus. So that's your first task. Who are those three people? Who are those three people? I know you've probably got them. Most of you have them, and I may be hitting a nerve right now. So you can do the hard thing. You can do the scary thing, and you will not die. And I heard pastors say, out of radical obedience, and this would be out of like doing something scary, comes really radical, awesome blessing too. So you never know what's on the other side of that scary thing. Okay. The second task will be to find and send or share 3 testimonies. Maybe it's a diamond documentary, or a health testimony, a testimony that's going to connect to their heart. Okay. This is another way that you can build belief. Just because they're in a group page or something like that doesn't mean they're seeing all the things, but picking a testimony that's really going to speak to them, that they're going to see themselves in, and share that testimony with them. Okay. And that should be a regular practice that you do. But that is the task for today is to 3 people that I know what they struggle with. And maybe you're like, I don't know exactly what their struggles are. I'd like to know. But maybe you can guess, maybe they're a teacher and they are overwhelmed and they have kids, and they would, you can imagine that they might want to work from home and be a more present mom. Well, you've got Melissa Eichenhorst's diamond documentary, Cheyenne Weeble's diamond documentary. Those are just a couple that are off the top of my head, but maybe it's that. So be thinking, get into their life, think about their life, especially if you don't know what they struggle with, but ideally you're going to know their struggle, that they have migraines, or they struggle with anxiety, and you're going to be able to find those testimonies and connect to their heart in that way. That is another way that you are able to directly and personally help people build people's belief in what Plexus has to offer. Okay. Those are my tasks. So when you've done the tasks for today, I want you to comment build belief in the chat down below, comment that. And if you have stories, like if you're like, I have people in that bucket, I need to add to a team page, tell me about it. I want to hear about it. All right. Y'all have a great day. Go get them, y'all.